This is the demonstration video for the cheese omelette. Cooking principles. Egg cookery. 1. Cook eggs over low or medium temperature. Start at medium heat. You can always lower the temperature as you cook until it's on low. Protein often will squeeze out all the water if cooked at too high of heat, and therefore making our eggs tough, chewy, and rubbery. 2. Accurate timing. Do not overcook eggs. My favorite phrase for cooking eggs is low and slow. The key to moist eggs is to have low heat and to let them cook for several minutes. Have the patience to let them be undisturbed, allowing the protein to set up. This will give you a light and fluffy texture. 3. Egg coagulation. Coagulation is defined by the change of state of the protein structure. This means our eggs are changing from a liquid form to a solid form brought on by heat. Coagulation is irreversible. The proteins cannot be turned back into their liquid form. Nutrition. Eggs are a great source of protein. It is essential for building muscle, repairing all types of body tissue, regulating body processes, forming antibodies to fight infection, and supplying your body with energy. Egg yolks contain fat. Fat helps protect your body and insulate body parts such as major organs, supplies energy to your whole body, transports fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, and supplies your body with essential fatty acids needed for functioning. Eggs also have iron. Iron is needed to help build hemoglobin in the red blood cells to help transport oxygen and carbon dioxide, preventing nutritional anemia. Eggs have zinc. Zinc is a nutrient found throughout your body. It helps your immune system and metabolism function. Zinc is also important in wound healing and your sense of taste and smell. Eggs contain phosphorus. The main function of phosphorus is the formation of bones and teeth. It is also needed for the body to make protein for growth, maintenance, and the repair of cell and tissues. Selenium. Eggs contain selenium, which is an essential trace mineral that supports many bodily processes. It can help improve cognitive functions, immune system function, thyroid hormone metabolism, and fertility. This recipe also contains many vitamins, some from the egg and some from the fillings. Vitamin A is needed for normal growth and formations of bones and teeth, for maintaining normal vision, resisting infection by keeping your skin and lining layer of your body healthy. B vitamins help the body turn carbohydrates into energy, help with normal growth and development of the body, maintain good appetite and normal digestion, and is essential for the proper functioning of your nervous system. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is the one vitamin eggs are missing. It's a good thing that we have green peppers and tomatoes in our recipe today. It is essential for growth, development and repair of the body tissues. It is also needed for the absorption of iron, proper functioning of the immune system, wound healing, and the maintenance of cartilage, bones, and teeth. Vitamin D, also known as the sunshine vitamin. Eggs are one of the few natural sources that contain vitamin D in food. The major biological function of vitamin D is to maintain normal blood levels of calcium and phosphorus. Vitamin E. Eggs contain vitamin E, which is an antioxidant. Vitamin E also helps keep your immune system strong against viruses and bacteria. It also helps your red blood cells and widen blood vessels to keep the blood from clotting inside them. And finally, vitamin K. Vitamin K refers to a group of fat-soluble vitamins that play a role in blood clotting, bone metabolism, and regulating of blood calcium levels. Ingredients: 10 milliliters of margarine or oil divided. This will act as a tenderizer in our recipe today. As eggs cook, the proteins in the whites form tight, cross-linked bonds that turn their texture dense and rubbery. By adding margarine to the mix, it coats the proteins with fat, inhibiting them from forming the bonds so the eggs stay soft and creamy. 2 large eggs. Eggs have many functions, but today will act as structure as we create a large disc that we fold around the filling. 25 milliliters of milk. Adding a liquid to the egg mixture will increase the lightness and fluffiness of the final omelette by producing steam as it cooks. A traditional French omelette often uses water only. However, using milk will add to the creamy and rich flavor of the omelette. Half milliliter of salt. Salt enhances natural flavors, but salt in our egg dish today will help neutralize the negative charges in the protein molecules and allow the proteins to bond or coagulate at a lower temperature. Cooking at a lower temperature means that we can have a more tender and moist egg product. Few grains pepper. We are seasoning our dish with pepper today, as our fillings have many different flavors and we do not want to overwhelm the entire dish. 40 milliliters of grated cheddar cheese. The cheese is one of our main flavors of our omelette today, but it will also act as a binder, helping to glue our filling and our two halves of our omelette together. 1 mushroom. This is optional. Today we're using a button mushroom, which is commonly found in North America and Europe. It is also known as a table mushroom. Mushrooms are really high in vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin B and potassium. 25 milliliters of green pepper. This is optional. This is one of our flavor for our filling today. We're using a bell pepper or capsicum as it's otherwise known around the world. Peppers are really high in iron and vitamin C. In fact, they have 2 to 4 times the amount of vitamin C than an orange. 25 milliliters of green onions. This is an optional flavor for your filling today. Green onions are simply the immature young shoots of a regular bulb onion. They are milder in flavor, full of vitamin C, B6, K, and potassium. 2 slices of bread. Today we're using 100% whole wheat bread to make toast to accompany our omelette. It is the combination of protein from the eggs and complex carbohydrates from the toast that makes this a really excellent breakfast food. Protein and carbohydrates are slow to digest and therefore will provide you a sustained level of energy that will help you make it all the way till lunch. Half a tomato, sliced or wedges for garnishing. If desired, the tomato can be chopped and used as your filling for your omelette. Tomatoes are very high in vitamin C, which is perfect for us to help absorb the iron found within our eggs. And that is our ingredient list for the cheese omelette. Equipment. For this recipe, you will need measuring equipment, small measures, a metal spatula, a non-stick skillet, a small bowl, a fork or a whisk, a grater, a chopping board, a chef's knife, a paring knife, a bread knife, a rubber spatula, a lifter, a toaster, and lastly, a dinner knife. Method. Practice Bichette before you start your lab. Books away, aprons on. Roll back your sleeves, tie back up your hair or take off your hats. Stack your chairs, wash your hands, get out your equipment and your towels. Step 1. In a small bowl, beat eggs with milk, salt and pepper with a fork or a whisk. I start by cracking my eggs on the countertop rather than the side of the bowl. If I crack my eggs on the side of the bowl, I'm more likely to have shell break off and land into my egg mixture. Be sure that if you get any raw egg onto your hands, that you quickly wash your hands with soap and water in case there is any salmonella bacteria found within the egg. Then, measure your milk and add in your salt and pepper. To mix our mixture, I could use a fork, but I'm going to use a wire whisk. A wire whisk does a better job at incorporating air into our mixture. Air is also key to having a light and fluffy egg omelette. Step 2. Grate cheese. If using, wipe mushroom with a damp paper towel, then slice mushroom. If using, wash, then chop the green pepper, and or green onion. Wash tomato, dice tomato if using as a filling, slice or cut into wedges if using tomato as a garnish. Please use a cutting board to put your grater on top of so that you are less likely to have the grater slip. Make sure you're using a cheese side. You can tell because it is a full circle. Now, when you grate your cheese, be sure to rotate your block around so you do not develop a sharp angle. Sharp angles are more likely to slip. And when you get down to the end, gently push the last of the cheese through the grater. Make sure you do not cut your hands by going slowly and carefully. Next, get a damp paper towel to help clean the outside of our mushroom. Cultivated mushrooms are usually quite clean. We only need to gently wipe them outside of the mushroom. If you wash it under water, you're more likely to have water absorb into the mushroom due to the porous nature of their flesh. Make sure that when you cut your mushroom, you use a cutting board and a paring knife. Mushrooms are quite soft, and a paring knife will give you more control when you slice the mushroom. Next, let's cut our green pepper using a paring knife. A green pepper is too soft, and a paring knife will give you better control so you're less likely to slip. Start by cutting your green pepper into lengthwise strips, then cut crosswise until you have a 1 cm by 1 cm square dice. For our green onion, we will use a chef's knife. A chef's knife will do a rock and chop motion, which means we'll keep the knife blade continuously on the cutting board, gently only lifting the end of the knife. Make sure you keep your hands in a tight C shape so that you can gently move back as you cut along the length of the green onion. Next, use a bread knife that has a serrated edge to cut our very soft tomato. This will prevent it from being squished as we gently saw through its tender flesh. You either need to cut your tomato into wedges so that you can garnish your omelette, or you can gently dice your tomato by cutting it into long strips and then cutting crosswise so that it also has a 1 cm by 1 cm dice. In general, all of our filling ingredients should be similar shape and size so that they have even cooking time. Step 3. Melt 5 milliliters of margarine, or use oil, in a non-stick skillet over medium-low heat. Test the temperature of the fat with drops of water. Should sizzle and not pop. Make sure you start on medium heat. As the margarine melts, you may use your rubber spatula to spread it equally around the non-stick pan. I have water on the end of my hand. I'm just going to gently flick it into the pan to listen for the sizzle. Then I know I'm ready. Step 4. Sauté mushroom and green pepper until tender. Remove from the pan. Let's add our mushrooms and green peppers to the margarine now. We're going to gently toss them around using either a silicone rubber spatula or a plastic lifter or a wooden utensil. You do not want to use any utensil that is metal in a non-stick pan. Metal utensils tend to scratch the surface coating, and once the coating is scratched, it will no longer be non-stick, and unfortunately, the pan is ruined. We want to cook the mushrooms until they start to turn golden brown. They will absorb some of the fat in the pan, which is okay. We can always add in more right before we add in our egg mixture. When the mushrooms and green peppers are done, take them out of the pan and put them off to the side on a small plate or a cutting board. In that way, we can cook our egg mixture using the same pan. Step 5. In the remaining margarine or oil, pour egg mixture into the heated pan. Do not stir. Allow mixture to cook undisturbed for about a minute or until the bottom starts to set. Coagulation is the process that occurs when the protein molecules in the eggs change from a liquid to a solid due to the application of heat. So if necessary, add in more margarine now, but as you can see in my pan, I have still quite a lot. I'm going to gently pour the egg mixture in, and I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it set up for a minute. Step 6. With a rubber spatula or lifter, gently push eggs from the outside to the center, while tilting the pan to allow the uncooked liquid egg to flow underneath and cook. I start by taking my rubber spatula and gently moving the cooked egg in from the edge of the pan to the center. This creates a curd-like appearance that almost looks like scrambled eggs, but it's not. It's much flatter. Then, Tilt and rotate the pan until you're sure that any of the uncooked egg has filled the empty spaces that you've created. When the surface of the egg looks moist but does not jiggle when the pan is shaken, you are getting ready to put your filling in. This whole process is very fast. Cooking the egg alone takes about 1 to 2 minutes. Step 7. When the top appears jelly-like or still moist, sprinkle half the omelette with grated cheese and sautéed vegetables. Cook until cheese is just melted. If necessary, increase the heat to medium to lightly brown the bottom. You know you're ready to put the filling in when the top of your omelette looks moist, but when you shake the pan, it doesn't move. Make sure you put the cheese and the filling only on one half of the omelette circle. Now, at this point, you can raise up your heat so that you can brown the outside of your omelette. Traditional French omelettes tend to be quite pale than North American ones. It is up to you how you would like to do the outside of your omelette. Step 8. Toast bread, butter toast, and then cut diagonally. When using the toaster, there are a few safety rules students need to remember. 1. That you double check the dials have been set to the proper setting and that you don't accidentally burn your toast or cause a fire. 2. If your toast gets stuck, that you unplug your toaster and use only a wooden object such as a chopstick to help remove the toast. And 3. That you do not use the toaster anywhere near your dishwater, because if you accidentally put the toaster into the water, you're putting yourself at risk of electrocution. While the toast is warm, use a dinner knife to help spread margarine all on the surface of the toast. Next, using a bread knife, cut the toast on a diagonal for a more pleasing look to help plate your omelette. Step 9. Using a lifter, fold the unfilled side over filled side and then cut in half. Using a lifter, gently slide under your egg mixture to help flip it over top of your filling. Then, to divide the omelette in half so that each partner pair gets their own share, cut on a cutting board before transferring to a luncheon plate. Step 10. Gently slide or transfer omelette to 2 luncheon plates. Serve immediately with buttered toast and the garnish. Now, because this is my demonstration, my omelette will not be cut in half, and instead I'll gently slide it straight from the pan to the luncheon plate. Make sure you remember your art of presentation when it comes to displaying food. Arrange your plate in an attractive manner. Add your toast and your tomato garnish. If you have any leftover green onion, you could sprinkle that on top as well. Adding more color will help make it more appealing and attractive to the person who's eating. This recipe yields 1 omelette. Tests for doneness. 1. Top appears jelly-like, moist, before toppings added. 2. A delicate light brown color. 3. Standards. 1. A very delicate light brown color. Make sure you do not overcook your eggs or have a blackened appearance on the outside. That indicates your temperature was too high. 2. Light and tender, not tough and chewy. Eggs should always be light to eat. If you have rubber eggs, there are only 3 reasons why this would happen. 1. You used too high of heat. 2. You cooked way too fast. And 3. You overstirred the eggs, causing it not to have that chance to set up and not be overhandled. 3. Attractively served. This is your first chance to try to serve and plate a dish so that it is attractive to the eye. Remember, you eat with your eyes first. Your eyes will tell your brain whether something looks good and therefore tastes good. These are your standards for the cheese omelette. Let's take a look at my demonstration omelette. You can see that my omelet has a light golden brown color, indicating that I raised the temperature at the very end to give a golden brown color. I plated it with an asymmetrical design with the toast on one side and the garnish on the other, making it as attractive as possible. You can also see that the filling pieces are evenly sized so that when the person bites into it, they should get all the flavors at once. Eggs are such a wonderful food. This omelet is a wonderful dish that every young chef should master. Make sure you cook low and slow, and your omelet should turn out as good as mine. Happy cooking. Thanks for watching.